Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome to a Call of Duty Vanguard video. In today's video, I'm going to be giving my review on Call of Duty Vanguard's multiplayer so far and giving my thoughts on the game overall and specifically focusing on three aspects of Call of Duty that I think really make or break a game, which are the maps, the kill streaks, and the guns. And we're going to talk about all that as well as a bit more in this game and basically give my review. Now, this is the first game that I haven't covered on release in 10 years since Modern Warfare 3, and the reason why is because I got some real life stuff that I'm focused on at the moment, so I'm not sitting on the computer all day and I'm working obsessively on videos, you know, multiple a day, class setups and stuff like I usually do on a COD release and have been doing for so many years now. So I have been taking a break from uploads, and that's just something I want to let you guys know basically what's going on. But I did get some playtime in on this game in the beta, as well as, you know, since the game's been out, especially that first week I was playing the game quite consistently late at night when I would get a chance to, and I'm going to talk about basically my review on those sort of things. So let's get right into it and start with a bit of my thoughts on the beta. But first of all, I'd appreciate if you guys could smack that like button, drop a like on this video. That would be absolutely awesome. Now, my thoughts on the beta. Going in, my expectations weren't crazy high for this game because it is Sledgehammer Games and it is a World War II setting game, which we have of course seen before, and with that sort of setting, it really does limit what they can do with the map streaks and the guns. The maps are a little more flexible because you can do a bunch of different stuff with it, but I think with the streaks it's pretty standard, and the guns are pretty standard because they have to stick to that time period, of course. So going in, that was sort of my expectations. I felt like my first impression was, okay, this feels like World War II mixed with Modern Warfare 19, and by World War II I mean, of course, the game World War II, the previous Call of Duty game World War II. And overall I did enjoy the beta. I find that the normal game is more enjoyable than the beta, but the beta was fun. I think a big reason that helped them with that, at least for me personally, is that the Drake and Kanye albums dropped like right around that time. So I was just like, you know, switching back and forth, listening to those albums on repeat while playing the game quite a bit, and that of course added to the fun because I was listening to two new albums which I like quite a bit while playing a brand new. It was like new everything, you know. It was just blowing my mind with that sort of experience overall, and not really necessarily just the Call of Duty beta. You know, it's pretty standard. We've seen betas for quite some time now. I don't know exactly how many years, but it's been a while that we've been having consistent betas for Call of Duty. You get a couple maps, or more than a couple, a few maps, and you get to, you know, enjoy quite a few guns and really get a feel for the game. But then when the game came out fully, that's when I really was impressed with the maps. And I think the maps is probably the most impressive thing about this game. It's the maps, the size of the amount of the maps, the size of the maps, and the combat pacing, which I think is a great idea and something that works pretty well. I mean, it doesn't work ideally, of course. I've seen posts where people, you know, are setting it for assault and they're getting a mix of all the modes. And of course, because of just how the matchmaking works, you can't get what you select every single time. But for me, when I would go for tactical, I was getting tactical a decent amount. And when I would go for blitz, I was getting blitz a decent amount. So those were sort of, I didn't really go for assault too much. I would stick between those two, and obviously tactical, if you get a small map, can be really fun. Blitz is really enjoyable, or not really enjoyable, but it's going to be fun no matter what if you get a bit, because you know, every map is basically fast paced with blitz, you know. So with the maps, 16 on release, and a lot of them are quite enjoyable. The maps that I'd say subpens is the one that I hate the most. I usually just, after playing that probably 5 times, I'm like, okay, I don't need to play this map again. You know, I'm just gonna back out usually if I get a lobby with that. The other one that I didn't like off the start was Desert Siege. Didn't really like that one. And Oasis was one that it wasn't horrible to me, but it didn't stand out as being good. I just didn't really like the design of it. It seemed sort of just bland, where, you know, it's sort of like, I guess you could call it 3 lanes, but it's more like just a box. That's the way that I see it. It's just a box with a bunch of broken walls. And, you know, maybe there's some different strategies that I could enjoy that map more. But definitely Subpens, I would say, was my least favorite map, and still is. And as far as maps, like I said, I like the amount, 16. And, of course, they're going to be adding new maps throughout the season. So I think that's really good. The amounts, the combat pacing, because on a map like Berlin, I think is the name of the map, where that one's probably not very enjoyable on tactical. I don't know if I've even played it on tactical, but on Blitz, it still becomes a fairly fun map, and you get constant action. And so I really do like combat pacing, and I hope that's something that they can build upon and can be in future games. I think that really makes like all the difference. Like if this game didn't have combat pacing and they just limited certain maps to certain amounts of player modes, I think that really would have made a difference. And I'm leaning towards a more negative game if that was the, a negative effect on the game if that was the way. So I think combat pacing was a huge positive to this game. Now, one of my beefs, though, with the maps is the destructible environment, and specifically, like, okay, in the beta, like, Hotel Royal, okay, all the area around B, those little glass windows or whatever, those break down, and it makes a little bit of a difference, but nothing crazy. But then the map Decoy, I remember when I first saw that map, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks like Infinite Warfare color scheme, small map, this looks absolutely amazing. And then once I played it a couple times, I'm like, what's happening? And then I figured it out. Oh, the whole map is getting destroyed. The whole barn, all the walls are getting destroyed after like 2 or 3 minutes of playing the game. And then it's not that enjoyable. And that's why I think Decoy is a really controversial. I mean, it's not really controversial, but it is because some players you'll see saying, what do you mean you don't like that map? That's the best map. Look at the colors, the size of the map. It's awesome. But then other players like myself are like, I don't fully hate the map, but it's hard not to hate the map because that map has so much potential, but the destructible environment, in my opinion, really hurt that. Now, as far as, like I said, maps and combat pacing, a lot of it is positive, but one negative thing that I would say that sticks out is because this game, I was having more fun on Blitz than Tactical, it kind of changes a bit of Call of Duty, like traditionally was 6-on-6, right? And you would run flank routes, you would, get a kill here, run back, go down another alleyway, get 2 kills there, run through a doorway, get another kill there. In these big team modes, it really encourages you to sort of sit in one spot because you can have fast-paced action while camping, which is something that never really happened on 6v6 or even 9v9 ground war back in the day. You'd have to on most of the maps, unless it's like 9v9 on Scrapyard, and even then sometimes you'd be camping up in the back building and not getting too much action for a little bit. But nowadays, if you're on a blitz, you have whatever, let's say 14v14, 16v16, you can post up and get a lot of kills, and if you try to move around, it's not going to be like I just described where you get 1 kill, run around, get a double kill in 6v6. It's going to be more like you get 1 kill here, maybe you pull off the double kill, and then you run into 4 enemies, and you really can't win that gunfight. And that's why I think it does change the way that Call of Duty is played, and it is really positive in the fact that it's fast-paced and there's constant action, and it's really good in that way. But as far as the strategy, it really does change how that's played, and it makes a more position-based, camper-based in a way. It doesn't have to be camper-based. It can be more position-based, long-range, AR-based playstyle, excel over an SMG-based playstyle. So that's my opinion on that. It isn't really rusher-friendly with that, but those are my opinions on the maps, and I think the maps definitely stand out as the maps and combat pacing are they stand out over the streaks and the guns in this game. Now, with the streaks, I'm not going to talk too much. Like, I don't want to go crazy. You guys know me. I could talk about just the maps and give my thoughts on every map, and it could be a 20-minute video just on the maps. So I don't want to make this video too long. So for streaks, let's try to keep it a bit short. Streaks in this game are what you would expect in a World War II based game. I like the fact that streaks that I've been running, UAV, bombing run, dogs, local informants, those are usually the 4 that I run, 3 out of those 4, depending on what I'm going for. I do like dogs and local informants. Really happy about those 2 streaks. Really glad those 2 are in the game, especially having a local informants off of release. UAV, of course, just standard. Counter UAV as well is pretty strong. And of course, if you get a bunch of UAVs on your team, really does enhance the radar and how that works. But then bombing run is a streak that I have a love-hate relationship with because, I'm playing a lot of blitz domination, I'd say is my most played mode. And bombing run gets you so many kills. It really allows me to get those really high kill gameplays and, get over 100 kills and stuff like that. With the bombing run getting quite a few kills because I get it multiple times a game. But at the same time, let's say I get 100 to 10 gameplay, for example, right? Just making up some numbers here. I bet you probably 3 of those deaths of my own, or 2 or 3, are going to be of my own bombing run. And I can't tell if it's just that I'm stupid or if it's that I'm supposed to just run and camp when my bombing run is in. Of course, that would be ideal for not dying, but I want to still get action, and that's my sort of beef with the bombing run. And of course, it has to be realistic, where you call it in, it has to kill you, but at the same time, it's not realistic because it doesn't kill my teammates, which obviously it can't. That would be the stupidest design of all time. But that's just my thing with the bombing run. If you guys know how to protect yourself from it or not, die from it every time while still getting high action and still being up. I like to play not way back, but not crazy up in their spawn, but in a sort of power position in the middle, right? Where I can sort of patrol their spawn and pick them off with an AR, like you know, on those blitz domination, bigger sized maps. So that's what I would say about the streaks. As far as the guns are pretty standard. Like I said, the setting really restricts what they can do with the guns, and the attachments and the perk setups are pretty much similar to what we've seen in the past few Call of Duty games. There is some things that are like with the perks. Okay, I like how they did the perk 1 slot isn't bad at all, but I think it's perk 2 slot. You know, like you have a good decision there with perk 1, whether you want to go with, you know, less explosive damage or not being on the radar as much. But then at the same time, perk 2, you have to run a perk so that you can, you know, radar, so you can see when people fire. It's just sort of like they're really taking away perks from the game. Like, your perk setup isn't really that important. You pretty much find, you know, you don't switch up your perk setup too much on class setups. It's really more about those attachments, which the attachment setup is for integration with Warzone and, you know, similar attachment setup that we've seen in the past 2 Call of Duty games. So with the guns, I really don't have that many thoughts on them. They're pretty standard. Honestly, exactly what you would expect. And I'd say it's not good, it's not bad. Time to kill seems to be fairly fast, and you can kill people even at a range, like, really quickly. So I build most of my class setups around speed and work on, like, just by, you know, moving my thumbsticks to pull down and control the recoil early. And then I work around speed, having, like, even bigger magazines so I can reload quicker, or just have more efficient reloads by having a bigger magazine. And then, because I also want to run stim shot, so you can kind of, if you don't run that, you get stuck in the spot between, do you want stim shot, do you want to reload? It can kind of be a tough situation there. So I think extended mags is really, really good. And then as far as just a few other things I have to say, random thoughts, the MVP voting, I think that's like, I can't tell if that, do they really think that's good, or is that just like a trick to hide the scoreboard from bad players? Because, like, you know, in certain modes you can't check your deaths in the game, then the game ends, MVP voting pops up, you have to, it's just, you know, one click over and then you can see the scoreboard. But I think maybe that's just to hide the scoreboard from bad players, so they just focus on their kills, which aren't even kills, of course, they're just eliminations, which are kills or assists, or, you know, whatever it is, which I think that was, like, that's one of the most genius designs for bad players. And I think they got it from, like, Overwatch is a game where it makes sense, because it's like, you know, an assist in Overwatch, it can be big. An assist in Call of Duty can be throwing a stun grenade and, you know, adding them up to eliminations, where they have your EKIA ratio, and now it's your KD, or I don't even know, not even KD, it's your ED, I don't even know what it is. It's something a bit ridiculous. But that's the thing with MVP voting. Is it just to hide the scoreboard from bad players? Or if they think MVP voting is actually supposed to be something that's going to be here in Call of Duty for a while, I think that it should be more like long, or more worth it. Like, the reward should be better. Like, it's like what, like 25 XP or a little bit XP should really be worth more, and should be something that is trackable through your barracks or something like that. As far as other things go, one other thing I have to say is that this game does have a good replay value because of the amount of maps and the amount of spots and stuff like that. I am excited to see where it goes with the future seasons and what they're updating, and, you know, new guns, new maps and things like that. But one thing is with Das Haus, which was the fan favorite map off the start, right? Then, of course, everyone likes that map, so they make it a playlist, and then people just go crazy with the shotguns, and then they nerf the shotguns. But most of my playtime was before that, so I'm not really sure how that shotgun nerf worked. You guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But the thing with that is that, did they not see this coming? I kind of laugh at this because, like, remember Modern Warfare 2019? This was the same problem. The small map, everyone liked that. They made that a playlist, and then the shotgun just went crazy. And, you know, people running overkill with the shotgun as well, which is another thing. If your perks aren't that important, it makes overkill really, really strong. And it just seems like an exact repeat of the problem that was in Modern Warfare 19 with the small map with the shotguns. So that was one where I don't know how they didn't see that coming. Hopefully the patch worked and, you know, nerfed it somewhat. But you guys let me know if you're still playing a bunch of Das Haus. How are the shotguns nowadays? But yeah, that was just something that made me laugh, and something that was definitely a big miss on the game at release. But overall, I'd say this game is actually, it exceeded my expectations, and it actually is quite enjoyable. Streaks are good. I'd say a 7 out of 10. Weapons are sort of what you'd expect. I'd say a 6 out of 10. And the maps, I'd say 8 out of 10. So overall, I'd say the game is really enjoyable. And it's obviously, you know, just on release. We have to wait and see how much more these updates do come out and add to the game. So that's pretty exciting, and this game did exceed my expectations, and I was having quite a bit of fun when I was playing the most in that first week of the game, and even, you know, a bit of fun, or a good amount of fun during the beta. So that's all I got for you guys for my review of this game. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below on the maps, on the streaks, on the guns, and anything else you guys want to say. And yeah, that's about all I got to say. Like I said, I am taking a break from making consistent content as of right now. I will be back in the future with content, but I'm taking a break as of right now. I know most likely my subscribers are probably going to dip below 1 million, which, you know, that's what you get when you take long breaks like I have been. But I'm not too worried about it, because I know when I come back, I'm sure I'll just be able to gain and, you know, get more new subscribers when I'm making consistent content and go back over it in the future. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. That's about it. Like I said, I'm excited to see. When I first saw the overhead view of the Warzone map, I was like, okay, that's a bit underwhelming. But as they've been showing these previews of like zoomed in sort of what the different areas or locations look like on the new Warzone map, I think they've been looking pretty good. So we'll see how that Warzone integration works out, and hopefully that is enjoyable. But yeah, overall Vanguard, I'd say this game is solid. It's a good, fun Call of Duty game. Nothing that is absolutely crazy about it, but I think that combat pacing definitely would be, to me, the thing that stands out, and hopefully is something that they really keep going with, because it just allows, you know, maps to really flourish. A map that you don't like on tactical can be good on blitz. A map that you don't like on blitz can be good on tactical, although most of the time it's the first example that I gave. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Thanks for watching. Drop a like, and that's about it. I'm out. Peace.